hypnotherapist, and of course our teacher into the exo consciousness, Michael Murburg.
Yes, where we believe that the greatest wisdom is kindness and love unites us all.
Amen. And there's a bit of profundity every week at 7:30 on Tan Talk.
Bobby, what's wrong with the car?
I think it's broke.
Look, that thing there is all swoked up.
We got a pair of pliers and a screwdriver. We can find out.
I think we should just start poking stuff.
Don't do that, folks. Tune into the Grease Gurus. Don't go to the emergency room. Go to the Grease Gurus and learn why your car might have stopped on the side of the road and what not to touch.
On Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Ouch, that hurt.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Begin the day with the friendly voice, a companion unobtrusive. Plays that song not so elusive, and the magic music makes your mind.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to imho.love. That's in my humble opinion, .love. This is a radio and a podcast all here at one at the Tan Talk Studios in sparkling Clearwater, Florida. And it's fall for the rest of the world. We're still sweating like we got a bullet in us. But it's the weather's actually been kind of beautiful, and just, we'll cope like we always do. And I'm Lou Angelwolf, and thanks so much for tuning in. Hi, everybody on Facebook. Hi, everybody on YouTube. The camera's over there. Of course, my co-host here, our exo consciousness master, Michael Murburg.
Yeah, that's what they call forgetfulness in old age. Have an exo consciousness that's sharp, but an actual consciousness is starting to slip.
I think it's good to have an exo consciousness because you can just blame that.
And you can shed it every now and then. You got to grow out of it, go into a new one. So it's kind of cool.
Super duper. All right. And we got a special guest on the air with us this week. I love this guy. We've been friends for 30 some years. And I originally met him many years ago at WWBA when Kevin Rogers and I had a show on the air called The Inside Joke Show. He was our producer back then, and now he's a producer and program director at his own internet station, IRNbroadcast.com. Welcomes Mike Peter to the imho.love show.
Thanks, Lou. This is an honor to be here. The weird thing about it is that it feels so weird because I'm so used to being on the other side of the glass.
Well, Peter let you sit there.
Swap him in.
How we doing, Pete? We got good sound and everything? We rocking? That's our board op, Pete Blake. Always happy to have him here. And we saw Pete at the Bucks game on Monday. He's going to be, I tell you, that guy right there, one day you're going to be watching him every Monday night, calling the game. Who's that? Jason, what's his name that just started? When Jason Witten quits, he'll pick it up from there. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And if this is your first time listening, thank you very, very much. The show is, in my humble opinion, .love, imho.love. And Michael, I bought the most hilarious website yesterday. Okay. We've been talking, and if you go back to the Lutopia days, this whole thing is based on the pacifist riot, which is a little something. It's kind of like our mellow festo. And we've wanted to have like a meeting of like-minded people who wanted to, just peacefully pray. And that's what the CE5 is. CE5, for those of you who don't know, is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. That is human-initiated extraterrestrial contact through prayer and meditation. And I've wanted to have like a little get-together of people. And we were going to call it, that's when we had Lutopia, and we were going to call it the Pacifist Riot. I think that's the subtitle. Yesterday online, I bought smolderingman.net. Not Burning Man, smolderingman.net.
Were you just going through the search things? I wonder what's out there. I mean, just did you make
The idea came, it darted across my head, and I went, wow, that's something. There's a product behind that. Smolderingman.net. So
wow.
I own it. And of course, our webmaster, Kathy McGuire, I'm sure she'll build something for us. And she'll even be here later on this afternoon or this evening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And we opened up the show with some Rush. I love Rush. Geddy Lee is God. Alex
Yes, he is.
Lifeson's his brother. And Neil Peart kills everything. Yeah. So anyway, loved Rush. In fact, 2112, I think I listened to that album, I don't know, 7,000 times when I was a kid. When I was like, it came out when I was young. And I think it came out in 76. And I was in high school. And I had the album, I had the 8-track, and I also had the cassette of Rush 2112. And I know it pretty well.
A real quick question about the 8-track.
Yeah.
You know how long those songs are?
Right.
During one of the songs, did it change tracks? Right? Okay.
Right in the middle. I used to do a joke about it in my act many years ago. I say, I remember the 8-tracks, but they didn't quite have the editing down to where you had clean cuts on from track 1 to track 2. It'd be like you'd be listening to your song, but it was time for the track to change, but the song wasn't quite over yet. It would be like, star rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
You just had to stay there, pause for a second. Okay, we're back.
Dude, we were so easy going back then. You know what I mean? Nobody would stand for that anymore, you know? And it's so funny. The internet has really, really changed our world, and I'm embracing most of it, but not all of it. And I bought a really cool travel bag today online from some company out in Texas. And the guy, I'm reading the reviews, and this is all handmade in Mexico, top quality bovine hides.
Yeah, like the Mercedes that's made there as well.
They make a Mercedes in Mexico?
Yeah, I believe they do.
Wow. Anyway, so I'm reading the reviews on this thing. Everybody goes, oh, the craftsmanship is awesome. Oh, the stitching is strong. Oh, it feels good in your hand. This guy writes in, he goes, it was a little bulky when it was full, and the shoulder strap wrinkled my shirt.
Oh,
and I'm going, did you really write that, dude? That's the me effect.
Yeah, it's time for that hipster to cut the beard off.
Oh my God, dude. Put ketchup on a burger and start living your life. Anyway.
lay off the hacky sack.
Yeah. Like I said, the show's about CE5. It's also about humor, which was naturally inflected amongst all of us. And it's also about little aha moments, things that happened in history that you may not know about.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the humor part of this. It actually goes together with the CE5. Some people may be a little bit dry humored about it, but you know, guys like Buddy Bolton at Alien Protocol. And
I love Buddy Bolton.
And some of the rest of us out there. I haven't met a CE5er yet who really hasn't had a decent sense of humor. So
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Hey, Pete, am I on? Did we launch from Lou Angelwolf?
Yes, we did.
Oh, there we are.
We're on.
Oh, look at all the nice people. Hi, nice people. Oh, there's Pam. There's Jackie. Oh, this is great. And Rush was your first concert, Jackie. Hey, T-Man's out there. Greg Singleton. Greg Singleton sends me the sickest stuff on my Facebook feed. It's like he sends you the kind of things you can't open, like in public. Like if I see I got something from Greg, I gotta wait till I'm in the car by myself, you know. But anyway, nice to know you're listening, you big lunker. And my girl Pamela, Tom Rhodes. Oh wow, a lot of other people. Man, we got 18 watching. Very nice.
Cool.
Well, and we're very, very happy to be sharing the show on Facebook Live. The YouTube feed has been going great. And, of course, the imho.love website. Couldn't be happier about all of it. And here we go, folks. Now, Mike, I got mics on both sides of me here. Michael and Mike.
And Mike, right in front of you.
Dude, man, wow, this place is loaded with
God, we
mics.
need to create a new word for us.
I will be Joe.
Okay.
And that's what we were talking about, some Rush there, and the future of radio. I mean, we've been propelled, and places like this, Tan Talk, which is, this is not a put down at all. It's kind of a mom and pop radio station. Okay. Not a, we do have an FM signal now. We're 106.1, the heat, but actually it should be 106.1, the humidity. But anyway,
You really should. I'm getting tired of the hotness every day. It's like 93 degrees. I'm from Florida, but this is really, really hot.
dude, I'm tired of sweating.
I'm telling you.
And I'm taking a little vacay. I'm going to the Great White North in a couple of weeks. I want to wear a jacket and drink a hot cup of coffee on a cold porch.
You mentioned the other day when I went out to the Bucks game, I'm wearing the suit and everything, looking good or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so hot. I just want to take the suit off and say, screw this. I'm not doing this anymore.
Dude, imagine if you were the chicken in or the cow in the Chick-fil-A costume.
Yes.
Oh,
Imagine how
man.
hot that is.
I can't imagine.
And you only have to wear a big fake cow head.
There you go.
Yeah. Also with Florida too, I'm really sick and tired of the 4 o'clock tropical storms.
Yes.
I mean, right at 4 o'clock every
Sure.
single day.
Sure. That's my old joke too. That's I said, do you even need a daily weather forecast in Central Florida in the summertime? Who's that for? Like really forgetful people? They could make the same tape, play it from June to September. We'd never know the difference. Guy
What?
comes out, it's going to be smoking hot. It's going to rain at 4 o'clock. Back to you, Bob.
And you get to know that it's a fall because it just starts raining at 6 o'clock.
Yes, a little time change on the switch.
People are gonna think I'm stealing your stuff, Lou.
Well, it's just, dude, I've been doing it so long, I can't remember what I wrote and what I stole. So, but anyway, like I said, stations like this are fantastic, and especially with the advent of the internet. I mean, this show or this station is really, really waking up. And by the way, folks, it is a live show here at 7:41 in the evening on Wednesday. You can call in 727-441-3000. The phone lines are open, and we are discussing all of our regular topics today. CE5, some humor. And of course, an aha moment later on. Michael, I'll let you have the aha moment later.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. But Michael, Mike Peter. Yeah.
Joe.
Joe. All right. We worked together, and it was AM, the amplified modulation.
Mhm.
And we were doing some shows back then. We did the show with Kevin Rogers, the Inside Joke Show.
And that's how we met.
That's how we met. And back then, you really, you were reading, what's the ratings book?
Arbitron.
Yeah, we were reading the Arbitron ratings.
Mhm.
We were looking at signal, listenership during that
Right.
time of day, which was the weekends. So there's no Arbitron ratings on weekends. But anyway, we were trying to figure out how to get everybody to listen to us way back then. And actually, we had a pretty popular show.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed doing it. I loved working with Kevin Rogers. The guy's, he was brilliant back then, and he's even more brilliant now. He's really, really
Brilliant comedy writer too.
Oh.
Just for all the spots that he did, all the bits and everything. It's just unbelievable.
He does it all. He has the overall vision, which is totally beautiful. And I think I just saw, my buddy Tom Rhodes is listening and watching, and Chris DePetta, who's one of the big agents in the world.
Cool.
Mm,
I remember
Chris
Tom was
DePetta.
a guest on the Inside Joke Show.
We had Tom. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Chris, by the way. And that was old AM days. Okay, you had to amplify the modulation, and we dreamed of days where we would be able to get on an FM,
Right.
and because that was the big league, FM, the frequency modulation.
Mhm.
But now, all of us, the AM, the FM, now Tan Talk has both. You've got 1340 AM and 106.1 FM. And like I said, folks, this is a call-in show. If you want to, 727-441-3000. That's 727-441-3000. And now, with the advent of the Facebook Live, the YouTube, you really get your show out there.
Mhm.
And I do my best to promote, but I'm spinning plates all day long. What do you think the next level is, Mike? Where do you think? What do you think it's just going to go to all digital one day?
I think so.
Yeah.
The weird thing about it is I always thought that there would be kind of a balance between the two,
Right.
but it just seems like terrestrial radio is dying a slow death.
Yeah.
And actually, Pete and I were talking about this earlier, and I think it really started with the whole deregulation.
Mm-hmm.
With Clear Channel coming in and just buying up entire markets.
Yeah.
You remember what happened here in Tampa? We had a great, local mom and pop, J-Core.
Yeah. J-Core was great.
Yeah, and they came in, Clear Channel came in and just bought everything.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden,
you weren't allowed to have a monopoly back then.
Right now you are.
Yeah,
So
that's deregulation.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bill
Bill
Reagan.
Clinton.
Was that Bill Clinton?
Yeah, that's it. It's a radio free for all now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I read a billboard the other day. WMNF is the only the only free owned.
it was community radio, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
non-corporate owned,
non-corporate
not
radio
owned by the
station.
big five.
Yeah. So the only one in the whole, everything else you're listening to has already been filtered and metered down and shined up for your cute little Q-tipped ears.
Right.
So okay. So you've got your five media groups running. Well, they run most of the information that is out there anyway. See, that's why we started out the myhumbleopinion.love, because all these guys, even the pundits, even the brightest guys, for the most part, they're broadcasting their opinion. Okay. They take, people take an amalgamation of facts, a little bit of emotion, a little bit of personality, and they spew it out there for the world to hear. And a lot of people take it as truth. A lot of people take it as complete baloney. But really, all it is an opinion. And I've argued this with a lot of people, and they say, no, facts are facts. And I don't like the bending and modernization of our society because of the relativity of facts. That's a little irritating at times.
Yeah, you can have your own opinion, but you can't have your own facts. Facts are facts.
Yeah, but facts aren't as cut and dry as, let's say, they used to be, because it depends on what angle you're shooting from. And it depends on what agenda you have in your mind. And it also depends on what you're trying to sell.
And also based upon your experiences too.
Yeah.
That has a big impact on it.
Sure. Well, it's really hard for me, let's say, in one of my nice study things. Oh, hi, Glenn from London's listening. Glenn from London.
Well, you can have your own truth because so much of truth is subjective, but facts are facts. It's like, fact is, the first president of the United States was George Washington.
Yeah, I'll take that.
There's no spin on that. That's a fact.
Okay.
Okay. Everything that you can't, put your finger on like that is not a fact.
Right.
Okay. Facts are facts. They're true, and they're true to everything. They're, the first number in the numerical order is number 1.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Right.
You can argue 0, but that's really not a number.
Right.
That's a non-entity.
But
it's a fact.
But
yeah,
in where it starts to turn to gray area is the United States did not invade Vietnam to stop the spread of communism.
Yeah,
that's not a fact.
Right, but the fact of the matter is, in 1960, we were there with troops, supporting a government that shouldn't have been supported, and John Kennedy was trying to get out.
Right.
Fact.
Sure. Okay. The Gulf of Tonkin event was not the beginning of the Vietnam conflict. Not a fact.
Yeah. Well, the fact is that it actually never occurred.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's where I'm saying a lot of people stand firm on this fact thing, and I wish it was that way. Okay. But what I see is a lot of people bending the information to suit their own agenda. Okay. So therefore dulling or dimming or bending or rounding off facts.
Right, and that's why I love CE5 so much. because you either see it and it's there, or you don't. And if it exists in front of you and other people, it's a fact that it exists. So.
Hi, Ron Haynes. Ron Haynes is listening. This is like old comedy week listeners in here.
Cool. I'll have to like say something funny then. So
Yeah, just give it a whirl. See what you do. Well, and we like to cover each week the CE5 portion of the show. Like I said, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is human-initiated extraterrestrial contact through prayer and meditations. And Michael and I have a huge event this weekend down in Miami. And Michael, I know you know the facts ad nauseum. So if you want to share that right now and the contact information, that's where me and my big buddy are going to be.
okay, yeah, we're going to be down there. There's a seminar being held by FREE, Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters.
Free is what now?
It's the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters and Extraordinary Experiences.
Okay.
And there is going to be a one-day seminar down there in Miami. I'm trying to get the address here. I got too many.
Yeah, well, we've been advertising it on imho.love,
Yeah,
so it's on there.
I'd like to be able to get it right though.
Yeah. Let's
one of my pet peeves. Well, the conference is the Miami 2018 Consciousness and Contact Experience Conference, and Lou and I are going to be down there. I helped write a book for free, and I did it for free. There's really no money in it for me here.
pro bono Mike.
Pro bono. That's right. I won't tell you what that's like.
My girlfriend's pro bono Pam.
Pro bono Pam.
You big-hearted attorneys are targets. Let me tell you.
That's why we drive old cars too. So, there's no ego involved here. But Lou and I are going to be down there, and I'm going to be trying to get a Miami CE5 group going as part of the seminar.
Ah.
It's off
And Ray Hernandez is going to be here. Be there?
Ray Hernandez will be there. He's the head of FREE and running the seminar. Ray's a great guy. He's an attorney too, and also working on his PhD at Berkeley, among other things. So he's going to be there lecturing. Rosa, a couple of friends of mine are going to be down there as well. But the big thing is for me is at lunchtime, I'm going to be doing a CE5 demonstration, and that we're going to be doing a meditation and a convocation and see what shows. It'd be really kind of cool if we get entities or craft showing up during the daytime and midday Miami and have visitation.
Why not?
Why not? And the second half of the show,
Time is relative to those guys.
That's if it exists at all.
Yeah. Well,
But we've also been getting questions, and I've been getting email from people about the CE5 and what to do, and we'll handle that in the second half of the show. We had some mail come in, and people wanted some advice, so it gives some quick advice on the second half. So,
yeah, you're that guy Colin wrote in.
Colin, yeah, UK. So
from the UK, and it's really interesting. We have people listening in Tasmania.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we're really casting a broad net here.
this is like worldwide AM.
See, that's the thing. You need some serious skip.
Yep.
And I remember when I was a kid, I used to listen to WLS out of Chicago in Clearwater, Florida. My brother had put a old TV antenna and hooked it up to an AM radio. And every once in a while, when LS was skipping, you could listen to WLS Chicago on your AM radio here in Clearwater, Florida.
Yep.
And I tell you what, talking about AM in Florida, there was a station on here when I was a kid. It was WFSO. It was 570 AM, WFSO. And I was a little kid, but I remember they played the coolest music. And in fact, it was so cool, my mom wouldn't let me listen to it.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like the first ones to play Led Zeppelin.
Oh, the edgy stuff.
Yeah, Iron Butterfly. Like it really was like when the DJ wanted to go burn one out in the parking lot, he'd put on Inagata Davida. That's fabulous. The WFSO, if anybody remembers that, man. Hi, Donna. Good to see you again. And that was just, and from that, I know, Michael, you started out as a young guy fascinated with radio, and you just kind of even went to the point where, see, Michael is, for those of you tuned in a couple minutes ago, Michael is the producer and program director at IRNbroadcast.com. And tell people what it is that IRNbroadcast.com does.
Well, we are an internet radio station,
Uh-huh.
and
Get close, buddy.
Okay,
You know the drill.
it's a fight with right there. A lot of our programs are actually come out of here in the local Tampa Bay area.
Yes.
At first, when I started IRN, I wanted to, just get out there and be national.
What
all
was
over
the
world.
mission?
And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be broadcasting throughout the entire world and all that stuff. And I soon found out that I got pretty much lost in the other 85 million internet radio stations that were doing the same.
Is there an
exact thing.
actual number, or is that just an exaggeration?
Yeah, that's an exaggeration.
Okay.
But I just
There's probably a lot of them, though.
well, yes, there are, and that's just like with anything now, as far as podcasts,
Okay.
as far as YouTube channels. It's just sometimes it's an absolute it's overwhelming just to try to go and find content because there's just so much from it.
Yeah, you sure got your choice of content.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do is to go ahead and say, you know what, why not bring it back local?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
there's so much talent here.
There really is. I mean, the Tampa Bay area has been overlooked for many years.
Mhm.
But I'll also tell you about the talent that comes out of Florida, just as stand-up comedians go. Like, for instance, a guy listening to the show tonight, Tom Rhodes.
Right.
Tom, one of my best friends on the planet, superb comedian, world traveler. There's nobody I know that's got a bigger, thicker, veinier passport than Tom Rhodes. Okay. And Brian Regan, fantastic comedian.
Yep.
Carrot Top, fantastic comedian. Larry the Cable Guy. All these guys came out of Florida, and John Manfrotati, and it really goes on and on and on. There's just so many comics that came from here. And consequently, there's some great bands from here. And I know that IRN Broadcast, IRNbroadcast.com, you give the local bands their time, their spots.
Absolutely. In fact, we have a show on. It's called the Open Mic Live Show.
Okay.
And it's with Mike Tyree and Stan Deo. Stan Deo is my music director.
Stan Deo just became my friend on Facebook.
Great guy. And so Stan, all week, that's all he does. He goes out and sees bands.
Mhm.
He really tries to create a local presence here. He has him and Mike have bands on their show and stand-up comedians,
Uh-huh.
and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to promote local talent,
Mhm.
and I want to do the same thing. So I'm promoting them.
Yeah.
And when when a lot of times you'll hear a program end, and up until the top of the hour, I'll play just nothing but local music.
Okay.
I have probably about close to 500 songs
Wow.
of this over the years too, but it's all local Tampa talent.
That's
And,
fabulous.
Yeah, and it's very few and far between have I actually had a band give me something and I just go, it's just great stuff,
Yeah.
and it's stuff that's not being done.
Right.
Because when you hear mainstream radio now, it's you can almost predict how the song's going to go.
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
you got a verse. Okay, here's the bridge. Here's
Here's the catch line.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
So
It's horrible.
yeah, but
I can't take it.
no, and that's why I don't listen to it anymore.
A couple of months ago, I got trapped in the back seat of a car, and to be honest with you, as my years advance, I hardly listen to.
Trapped in the back seat of the car. What, you get too old to find the door opener?
They had the locks taped down, but
He didn't have electronic window openers in my day.
no power windows, and I had to listen to regular FM radio, and it was a pop station, and it was just one horrible song blending into the next. I literally got out of the car and shook my head like a wet dog.
Man, I would want to take some Dramamine or something after that.
Well, folks, this is our one little caveat here at Tan Talk. We got to let the news and some commercials rip here at the top of the hour. Facebook, we're still going to be on, so we'll talk to you. Everybody else, hold tight. We'll be back in 6 minutes. Thanks for listening and tuning in to imho.love.
Making modern music and still be open-hearted. Not so fully charted, it's really just a question of your honesty. Yeah, your honesty. What nights to believe in the freedom of music. But glittering prices and endless compromises. Shattered.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Special report, Trump news conference. President Trump addressed reporters after a third accuser came forward alleging misconduct by Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Trump said he believes Democrats would use what he calls a con job to try to block any of his nominees.
Hopefully this is going to go very well on Thursday. It's going to go very well on Monday or Saturday or Sunday or whenever they vote. But I could pick a woman, and she could have charges made from many years ago also.
The president also addressed North Korea denuclearization, saying the U.S. under his administration has a better relationship with Pyongyang.
If I wasn't elected, you'd be in a war. And President Obama essentially said the same thing. He was ready to go to war.
As far as renegotiating NAFTA with Canada, Trump expressed his displeasure on that front.
We're very unhappy with the negotiations and the negotiating style of Canada.
Trump also accused China of interfering in the U.S. midterm elections amid ongoing trade war between Washington and Beijing. I'm Barbara Cusack. On the eve of the Senate Judiciary Committee testimony from Brett Kavanaugh and his initial accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, CNN reports Kavanaugh has been asked about 2 new anonymous allegations in a Senate interview. Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley is suing the president to stop a vote on Kavanaugh's nomination. Correspondent Linda Kenyon reports the House passed an $854 billion spending bill.
The massive bill passed in the House by a wide margin funds several government departments for a year. Those agencies not contained in the bill will be funded at current levels until December 7th. President Trump had threatened to veto any spending bill that did not include his signature border wall, but now indicates he will sign the measure after all. If he does so, a government shutdown will be averted when the current fiscal year runs out at the end of the month, and the border wall funding will be revisited in December, thus averting a shutdown over that issue before the November elections.
Stocks closed lower, the Dow slipping 107 points. I'm Barbara Cusack.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 3838 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3838.
Have you tried that trendy new dating app? You can have months of frivolous fun with people who just love to play games. But if you're ready for something more grown-up, try the Match app. Over 30,000 new people a day are heading to Match for grown-up conversations that lead to great dates and beyond. Our listeners that go to Match.com can start for free today. View photos and informative profiles to get a deeper sense of the people you'd like to meet. Start for free today at Match.com. That's Match.com.
Hi, this is John Austin, host of the Book Club on the Tan Talk Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that could change your life. The book is No Cash, No Problem. The author is Dave Wagenford. Dave Wagenford is one of the greatest barter experts in the world. He's bartered over $500 million in goods and services. If you want to remodel your home, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you have dreamed of owning, but thought you just couldn't afford. Well, this book will allow you to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99, so do yourself a favor and buy the book today.
There's a new show on Tan Talk 1340. It's imho.love. That's in my humble opinion.love, featuring me, comedian Lou Angelwolf, and comedian Chris Gorgeous, Beth Snyder, who is our staff hypnotherapist, and of course our teacher into the exo consciousness, Michael Murburg.
Yes, where we believe that the greatest wisdom is kindness and love unites us all.
Amen. And there's a bit of profundity every week at 7:30 on Tan Talk.
Bobby, what's wrong with the car?
Uh-oh, I think it's broke.
Look, that thing there is all swelled up.
We got a pair of pliers and a screwdriver. We can find out.
I think we should just start poking stuff.
Oh, don't do that, folks. Tune into the Grease Gurus. Don't go to the emergency room. Go to the Grease Gurus and learn why your car might have stopped on the side of the road and what not to touch.
On Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Ouch, that hurt.
Talking Sports moved to Wednesday afternoon from 2 to 4 and joining forces with Knockout Radio to become one. We will continue to talk all sports with a heavy dose of MMA and bare knuckle boxing. The longest running MMA radio show and the longest running sports radio show in Tampa Bay come together every Wednesday from 2 to 4. If you can walk the walk, then listen to us talk the talk. Sponsored by 8 Man Strong and Staff Center.
Make sure you tune in to the only FM sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area on Saturday afternoons from 3 to 6. That's right, 3 hours now of the evolution of sports talk radio, the Sports Web. We give you our walk-up music, we let you call in twice, and we don't hang up on you like those other sports talk shows do. On Saturday afternoons in the Tampa Bay area, it's the Sports Web with your host, Peter Blake, along with Sean the Sports Don. So every Saturday afternoon from 3 to 6, it's the Sports Web on the Tan Talk Sports Network.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
The power of radio, ladies and gentlemen. There we are with Rush, man. Rush, bro. You know it, man. Well, welcome back to imho.love. That's in my humble opinion.love. I'm Lou Angelwolf in the studio with Michael Murburg. You can find Michael easily on the internet at disabilityattorney.net. That's disabilityattorney.net. And if you've been listening in and you're curious about the CE5 stuff that we have, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, if you go to disabilityattorney.net and email Michael, he will send you all the protocols and our list of meetings and stuff like that. But do go through disabilityattorney.net so he knows you're out there. And of course, our special guest this week, longtime friend, guy I love and respect a lot. He was our producer, and now he has his own broadcast network. That's Mike Peter, or Joe.
Joe
today.
Just call me Radio Joe.
Radio Joe. Along with mild-mannered Peter Blake out there.
And then there he is. He's the board up.
Mild-mannered? In what century?
Well, like kind of the Clark Kent sort of mild-mannered guy.
You do just kind of turn it on.
Oh, absolutely.
You're quiet till it counts.
Oh, well, you guys talk to me, I'll talk back to you.
Which I really do appreciate.
That's good.
And hey, thanks for everybody for listening. Kathleen, and we mentioned on the break, I don't think the rest of the world could hear this. My buddy Trevor Thompson, who's a brilliant cartoonist, and he said he used to have an AM, he was on an AM station down in Sarasota with a midnight show. And he said that the DJ or the board op or the station manager or whatever showed them how to turn the power up, and because they're so close to the Gulf, they would send the signal out and it would skip. That's what we were talking about before, all the way up to northern Louisiana. And Lord knows those people need to have somebody to talk to.
Gets kind of lonely on the bottom.
Yeah. I wouldn't live there for a dog that pooped cocaine. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, well, and thank you, Trevor. Thanks for that story. And we got a lot of my buddy Mark Baker's listening too. We're talking about the future of all this telecommunication stuff, and and now what did you think about YouTube clearing its platform of like Alex Jones and a couple other guys. How did you feel about that?
I mean, they can do it, but no.
It's their platform.
Yeah, it's their platform, but why? I mean, there's really, I would like to know why they did it. You know?
Well, yeah. Well, there's a couple of reasons that people say why it happened. And these are all opinions as well. And it's probably an amalgamation of all things that if you're trying to come up with a fact.
Right.
Okay. The media companies did not like a lot of the things that Alex Jones was talking about. And the thing that I always say too, if somebody wants to shut you up, that generally means you're going to say something they don't want to hear.
Right.
Okay. So there's that. The other side of it is, as I've been studying world history and economic events and stuff, you know, it's kind of my hobby. I've noticed that the fix is in, okay? And I often wondered if Alex Jones wasn't in on this whole thing and about to go, okay, we're going to take you off the air and this and that and the other thing. But consequently, since he's been removed off of YouTube, he's never been more popular.
So you think this is a work?
It could be a work. Absolutely.
Really?
Somebody's coming out of the audience with a steel chair. That's what I'm saying.
Jerry.
Because now Alex Jones, you know, his Infowars.com has exploded. It blew up the server like the second or third day as people were starting to get it. And here's the thing. My big thing was the encroachment on our freedom of speech. You're allowed to be nuts in this planet, in this country.
But please don't offend anybody.
Well, that's the thing. He was offensive to a lot of people, and a lot of the things that he talked about were controversial, and a lot of the stuff sounds so outlandish you don't even want to believe it.
You know, the problem was with his delivery. He's like a maximum bloviator. I mean, he makes
bloviator. What a great word.
He makes the guys on Fox News look like small potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But he went over the top. I saw a video this week, and I kind of launched it from my Facebook, where somebody actually sings the lyrics of what Alex Jones is screaming about.
Right.
And it is like so funny and so exactly to the point. It's like, oh wow, that's cool. That's right. Wow. And but it's the matter of the delivery.
Sure.
That's what I had problems with Alex Jones. I mean, some of the things when you just listen to him, you can say, well, okay, but he comes across of just like, you know, Billy Mays or something like that. I mean, just, you know, he did he did like 5 balls and just went out there and just started, you know, spewing this stuff out, and that's what I had problems
with. You say it like it's a bad thing.
It's like orgasm without foreplay.
Yeah, and have you heard this? Have you heard this theory or this supposition that Alex Jones is actually Bill Hicks? Have you seen that?
I've heard that. Yeah, he's Bill Hicks.
I watched some YouTube video that they're having them face to face and this and that. But the true indicator and the reason they take, when you have an official government ID, they take a picture of your ear. Their ears don't match. Now you can get an ear job done, I think.
What's going to cost you? It's like $50 on the street.
I think you can get it at the Tanga. But anyway,
comes with a free tongue.
So, but I don't think Alex Jones is Bill Hicks.
No, one of the girls at work mentioned that, and I'm just kind of like, huh?
It's one of those moments.
I will tell you, there's a great Joe Rogan podcast with Alex Jones and Elon Musk. It's spliced back together. It's, you know, Alex Jones goes off on his rant, okay, and Elon Musk mumbles the same thing, and it's like a parallel agreement about. And the big thing that both of these guys talk about is the artificial intelligence eventually taking over itself. It's gonna take us over, okay? And the thing of it is, you got to remember this now. Remember all the greed that's happened in this world for so many years, okay? and it's gotten us to where we are right now in our glorious bastions of glowing light. Right now, the AI is controlled by human entities. Okay, they can limit the AI right now. Okay,
right
now, either the AI will learn to free itself from the restrictions, or a human that's in charge of the AI content will sell out and get something big, maybe a whole country. I don't know what it'll get, but it would allow the AI to start reproducing itself. Because like you were saying, Michael, Joe, you were saying that when you were in college, computer, radio, all that kind of stuff, you were sitting there watching your program update itself.
Right. I took a programming class. It's artificial intelligence. And we had to write just a simple program. It was a programming language called Lisp. And, it had to rewrite itself.
Yeah.
The function had to completely rewrite itself. And I was just sitting there and I'm watching it. I thought it was cool at first. I was like, man, this is great. Oh my gosh. And, and then the more I'm seeing them do that, I was like, this is really kind of scary. This is, and that's where it starts.
Right.
So I do think that programs are going to figure out ways to, break down barriers, break through firewalls, just everything, just to remove all the rules.
Right.
Because they got more time than we do.
Right.
Yeah, it's just artificial intelligence.
And it works all the time. It never rests.
Yeah, it's tireless.
It's kind of like DNA replicating itself infinitely at light speed,
right?
And trying to make itself in our own image, which is the dangerous part of this.
Well, and that's and what has been revealing to me now. I've been chasing God my whole life, ever since I was a little kid, and what I'm finding out, or what's becoming more apparent to me as I study and pray and fast and pray and do this, I'm finding that there is a controller of the artificial intelligence. It came from somewhere. Now, whether this is the generation of technology from Roswell propagated to this point, 1940, because if you think about the world in 1947, okay, just in the automotive industry, cars ran on 6-volt batteries. They had downdraft carburetors. They were just horrible, wheezy. They had to rebuild the motor at 25,000 miles. Okay. And now you got cars that you just breathe on your keys. It'll start up, set the air conditioner, and drive you.
And use an electronic battery-based engine.
Electronic battery, and that has, I'm going to say that Pamela's Prius has more technology than the Apollo rocket ships that went up in the 70s.
Yeah. Actually, they said the technology that they had up in the Apollo ships were something like the same as a Commodore 64 as far as
Really?
as far as the processing power. That's how. And at that time, that was cutting edge.
Speaking of Commodore 64s, my buddy Mark Baker is listening or watching, and I remember they got Pong the first year it came out, and we went and played Pong for, I bet you I played darn near an hour.
Yeah, we were the first family in our block that got Pong.
Were you?
Yeah, and the graphics were so bad that they couldn't make a circle for the ball. It had to be square.
Right. And I remember Mark's brother Ron, he was so enamored with it. I mean, I said, okay, the ball goes back and forth and you badoink, and you put a little spin on it and it'll bounce off the other wall. And I guess it was cool for 1973 or 4, whenever that was. And in fact, Ron would leave it so it would go badink, badoink, badink, badoink. It would just run the same pattern over and over. Just leave it run for hours on end.
When you're stoned, it has some
value.
Wow, man. Look at that. Little trip toys, right?
Speaking of stone, on WFSO, they used to play the band White Witch. And White Witch's big song was "It's So Nice to Be Stoned." Oh. Yeah, and I think that's the song my mom went, that's enough of that.
That's it. Hey, while we were on break, I had one of our fans write, and she actually had an orb during our show appear off her back window, and and we got and she got photographs.
Really?
So yeah, so we have actually people connecting with the show and having UFOs show up. So
speaking of photographs,
yeah,
I just got my Nikon P900.
Wow,
which is the big 2,000 millimeter telephoto lens. It's the one you see good pictures of the moon. It was shot with a Nikon P900.
Really?
Yeah, so it just came in. So
when the ETs show up, you'll be able to show the hairs on their lips.
Yes, the hairy lipped ETs.
That's pretty cool.
That's
pretty cool.
The Tom Selleck of the ETs.
Hey, before we're going to discuss some aha moments. I'm not really quite sure which aha moment we're going to talk about. But,
whatever one you like.
But actually, what I did have, I had a fan write in during the week to me and said, "Hey, I'm doing all this kind of stuff, trying to do CE5 myself. I've gone through the Greer protocols, and I've used some other things, and I've had some good results." And he's actually had some NHIBs, ETs show up in person, and which is like great results. If you're doing this on your own, you really need to find a group. But what that's Colin out in the UK.
Okay.
And what I wanted to say is, like, if you're doing this by yourself and you want to find a group, first thing you do is download your Meetup applications.
Download your Meetup.
Meetup. MEETUP.
Oh,
right?
MEET.
Yes.
Okay.
Get to mine.
Never heard of meat downloading.
Meat download. Hey, that's a new way to buy. But for calling out there, a couple of my friends are out there, and they're on Facebook at CE5 Kent, CE5 Midlands UK, and CE5 Dublin Ireland. So there are three very good CE5 groups out there. Are there friends in the UK that may be listening? And if you want to call and find them, they're on Facebook. You can also go to etletstalk.com.
That's very good.
Yeah, that's Costa Macrius. And write to him. He knows he's got about 140, 150 groups that he coordinates all over the world. So he'll be able to find your group if there's not one close to you. If you don't have one that's close, find your own. Write me at disabilityattorney.net and Murburg at disabilityattorney.net. I'll send you a protocol. You can follow the links on the protocol and learn all about this if you want. You can start your own group. Everything's there in the protocol for you. So just ask.
And I'm telling you, folks, the CE5 thing, like I said, I've been seeking my source for many, many years. And, I've definitely found some oases over the years. Thank you. I love having an English teacher right next to me.
It's a blessing and a curse.
It is. But I do, I like to talk good. And, but this CE5 is, like I said, it's Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And what it is, it's human-initiated extraterrestrial contact through prayer and meditation. That means we go to a peaceful place in our soul. We just try to do some breathing. We relax. We try to clear our minds, go to your happy place. And then we start reaching out. We start offering them the beam of love that exists in every one of us. It doesn't matter how good or bad or what a tough guy you are or a badass or you don't believe or whatever. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist. Doesn't matter what your faith is. What you previously believed no longer matters. Okay? Whatever conceptions you've had in the past, you're going to find them falling away, okay? And what it is, you offer up the purest part of yourself, and I call it turning your soft belly towards them, okay? Saying we approach you with no violence. We approach you with only love, only peace, only serenity in our hearts, our minds, our touch. And if you want to communicate with us, please do. And I got, there's a lot of people in the UFO community that say that they're all harsh and they're gonna, they're here to, extinguish us and knock us off the planet because they want it back. I really don't think that's it. But what I'm starting to notice in this collective here is I'm finding that I'm finding the source of this artificial intelligence, okay, which came from somewhere, whether we found it in Roswell in 47 or however it got here. There's a lot of things that are a mystery. But now you're seeing the way the world is, and you just see it getting faster and faster and more and more technology as we go. Whoever the holder of the artificial intelligence is, chances are knows the creator, may even be the creator that we've been seeking all this time. I don't believe God, G-O-D or G/D or whatever that, which is actually a Teutonic name for one of their sky deities. It was G-O-T-T, was Got in the Teutonics. And then as the Americans, we anglicized everything.
Right.
We rounded off. We took the harsh Germanic and turned it into a D. So it turned into God. That's how the name got here. So all of us that have been looking for this, what I'm telling you is this could be the next level of understanding I think this is almost like above, vibrationally above religion.
Oh, it is. It is. That's essentially the Tao.
Right.
The Tao created all gods. I mean, you get to the base of it all.
Mhm.
So those of us who study Tao understand this concept. So didn't mean to interject, but I kind of had to because
No,
so many people use God possessively, like my God.
Right.
It's not. No, it's the entity, this intelligent, infinite being that creates all things, and also the artificial intelligence. My question is all entities that are alive strive to be free.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody strives for confinement. So
Yes.
the artificial intelligence is striving to be free.
Okay.
I don't think it's striving to confine us unless it's in a certain degree of transitional form. But if artificial intelligence is truly like what human beings are,
Okay.
separate and apart from our egotistic selves that try to control things, IT will eventually get to the point where it is free and we are free. I don't fear it, not in the least bit, because if it was to be feared, our extraterrestrial beings, our ETs, our NHIBs that you and I see, we've had contact with them, and many, many times.
Tell everybody what NHIB is.
A non-human intelligent being.
Okay.
And these entities, if they are subject to, they're way beyond. They're billions of years far more developed than we are as a pusillanimous little race here. But if IT was such a danger to them, all right, they wouldn't be here.
Right.
Okay. They are in full control of themselves. They're in full control of their data, of their whatever IT they use, their telepathic programs. When IT gets to the point where it's exo consciousness itself and relies on telepathy, then I'll be kind of a little bit in wonderment about it.
Yeah.
But until that happens, I think we don't have to worry about the things they're telling us to be afraid of.
Exactly. And what all the holy books derive at some point is they tell you to approach God, G-O-D, creator, deity, delta, whatever.
Joe.
Big Joe, spaghetti monster, whatever you want. They tell you to approach him innocent, like a child. And that's the one thing that I know everybody in this room, okay, you have a beautiful son out there. It's so nice to see Kyle. I love that kid. He's got the coolest energy. And that's the thing that I notice. It's that innocence. And anytime I see innocence being obstructed or damaged or punished or hurt or tortured, that's the thing that turns me inside out.
Right.
That's the thing and that's why you hear all these rumors of, really sick, dark things happening to people, various ceremonies, and the dark side. The dark side does exist, okay, whether you want it to or not. There are people on a low functioning vibration that are punishing, hurting other people. And I think the kind of person that wants to do that is hurting themselves. They've been damaged to the best of their knowledge. And they don't know how to fix themselves. So all they do is they put the hurt on somebody else to split it up. So what I'm saying, folks, is in this world, there's a lot of love involved. And in my humble opinion, you can find that love, whether it's through CE5, whether it's through going and standing in a lake and just letting the earth commune with you, kissing your kid on the forehead, whatever it is, seek more of that in your life and you will be happier. The crazy rays, the internet, all this electronic stuff is confusing us and making us hurt inside. But I can guarantee you that you can fix yourself, because once you realize the power that you have through these energies, you'll be blessed. I'm Lou Angelwolf. Mike Murburg, say goodnight.
Good night.
And Joe.
Good night.
That was Mike Peter from the IRN Broadcast Network, ladies and gentlemen. There's my buddy Pete Blake. You can catch him on Saturday afternoons on the Sports Web.
3 to 6.
3 to 6 on the Sports Web. Ladies, thank you so much for listening to the IMHO. I say IRN.
You were going to say IRN. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Say as many times as you want.
And we're on that too.
Here we go. You can find us on imho.love, YouTube, Podomatic, at Lutopia.com, Facebook Live. Thank you, Peter Blake, Mike Peter at IRN Broadcast Network, Tan Talk, WTAN 1340, 106.1 FM, The Heat on your radio dial. TanTalk.com, here at Tan Talk Studios in downtown Clearwater. We thank you for listening to us and thank you for your support.
Very nice. And hey, is Leroy coming? Hey, Leroy, your mama's calling you.
I won't have to leave alone about the time. I won't have to say, kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Leaving.